Do you have a combination of an eating disorder with OCD? We're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist and make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And today I want to talk to you about the really bad combination of having an eating disorder and OCD. They are co-occurring conditions, and so they often do show up together. And if you have an eating disorder or you have OCD, you're more likely to have the other one as well. So I want to talk today about when an eating disorder jumps over into the world of OCD, because often that's where the power of OCD is in kind of gaslighting you and saying, this isn't OCD. This is an eating disorder, and you do need to follow these rules in order to stay thin. So let's talk about what those are. I do have other videos where I talk about ARFID, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, and how restrictive eating is impacted by OCD. That's a different topic, and you can check that out right here. But today I want to talk to you about having an eating disorder, worrying about your weight. And so, because we do sometimes call eating disorders related to restricted eating, ARFID. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about when you are worried about your weight, you are worried about how you look, you want to be thin, and when that jumps the line into OCD. So how do you tell the difference? Well, with an eating disorder, everyone is a bit different, but the main focus is focusing on how you look and really worrying about that bottom line of your weight. And whatever that might look like for you, restrictive eating, binge eating, and then purging, whatever your disordered eating looks like. But when it's OCD, your brain starts to give you nonsensical rules and nonsensical compulsions that go above and beyond restricting your eating and binge eating and purging, or even exercise as a form of purging. It will tell you things like, you need to chew a certain amount of times. It'll give you magical thinking stuff. You need to do this in order to prevent yourself from getting fat. And so it might be, don't stand next to that person who's overweight because you might catch it. And even though intellectually you know that doesn't make rational sense, it doesn't matter because OCD doesn't care whether it's fact or fiction. What it does care about is that you just follow the rules. It will make things contaminated. And so it might make you feel like, if I'm near this bag of chips, somehow those calories can jump onto me, or I am going to be digesting them. Or if I'm touching something, it can go through my skin. And even though intellectually you know that doesn't make rational sense, again, it doesn't matter because OCD will say, just follow these rules. If you're worried about being fat or you're really focused on being skinny, then you need to follow these rules. And this is what you need to do it this way. You need to not be near calories. And calories can actually turn into a source of contamination. Overweight people can turn into a source of contamination. And so recognizing that you think that calories are contagious or people and their traits are contagious, you are firmly in the OCD category. The other thing that OCD does that eating disorders do not do on their own is make you doubt. They'll make you doubt your memory. They'll make you doubt your behaviors. They'll make you doubt your experience. And so it'll say things like, did you accidentally eat that thing? And you're not aware of it. That thought, that intrusive thought can happen in lots of different OCD themes. You can have intrusive thoughts of, did I say something to upset someone and I don't remember it? Did I harm someone and I don't remember it? When it's an eating disorder supercharged by OCD, the doubt can be around food. Did I eat that? Or did I digest that calorie? Did I have this behavior and I don't remember it? And so it can make you doubt your experience. How OCD grows is different than an eating disorder. So an eating disorder grows on the restriction or the binging and purging or the exercising or whatever you're doing in that loop to keep your weight very low. With OCD, it's a different beast and it wants you to follow the rules. And so when you follow the rules, so if I'm having a thought that says calories are contagious and they're a contamination, OCD might say, you know what? You need to not be near calories. If someone's eating cake next to you, you need to avoid them or the plate. And so I need to control my environment. That's a compulsion. That's different than an eating disorder. That's a compulsion, and it's going to perpetuate your OCD. If my OCD says, you might have eaten that and you don't remember, then I might have a compulsion where I might say to the person next to me, a loved one, did you see me eating those cookies? Because I'm not sure if I ate them or not. When you're doubting your own behavior, we're firmly in the OCD category. And when that person's like, no, you didn't eat anything. What are you talking about? They complete the loop that actually grows your OCD. Those are growing the neural pathways that will give you more intrusive thoughts and feelings and more rules and compulsions that you need to do. So when you act in a rational way to OCD's intrusive thought of doubt, did I do something? Or can I get this thing and it can contaminate me, or it's contagious because if I'm near this cake or I'm near this thing, or I put this lotion on it and I think it has calories on it, even though intellectually I know that makes no sense. When I take that as fact and I say, maybe I did eat the cake, maybe that lotion does have calories in it, maybe me sitting next to that cake or that person eating the cake is going to make me fat. When I say those things and I look at them like they are possibilities and they are fact, and I approach them with problem-solving approaches like, I need to not be near the cake. I need to ask my loved one if I ate the cookie. I need to avoid being in that room when I see that they're eating. I need to lock my bedroom door so I know I'm not leaving at night and eating. When you do those things, those are compulsions. When you're approaching OCD as if it's rational and you're coming up with ways to make sure, 100% sure that you're not doing those things or those things don't happen. I'm going to avoid the lotion. I'm not going to put anything on my skin that might be digested. Compulsions. Those are compulsions, and they grow your OCD. They supercharge your struggles, and they make you have more of those upsetting thoughts. So the way through this, besides what you're doing in therapy to address your eating disorder, is to identify what your compulsions are. Is that avoidance? Is that reassurance seeking? Is that saying magical things to yourself or doing things? Find out what you're doing in that OCD category, because when you stop doing what OCD wants and you start reducing that and you say, you know what, OCD will never be 100% satisfied that I didn't go eat that cookie or that the lotion doesn't have calories in it. No matter what facts are presented to me, it will never, ever be enough for OCD. Maybe in that moment it feels like enough and you can go on with your day, but guess what? Tomorrow you have 10 times more questions. It grows. And so the only way through OCD is to not scratch the itch and to not approach those intrusive thoughts as if they're rational and coming up with rational problem-solving ways to deal with it. And so it's sitting with the discomfort, which is really hard. To say intellectually, I know the lotion I'm not gonna absorb calories through the lotion. And OCD is like, oh, but what if it does? I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit with that uncomfortable feeling. Or I know intellectually I didn't wake up in the middle of the night and eat the cookie, but OCD is like, but you should make sure. Well, I'm gonna have to sit with that uncomfortable feeling because I intellectually know that I didn't do that, but OCD will never get that satisfaction of certainty, no matter what. I might sit next to someone who's eating cake and I might think, oh my gosh, those calories are gonna jump on me and make me overweight. I will have to sit with the uncomfortable feeling. Moving away is going to feed OCD. It is so hard when these two things team up because an eating disorder separate from OCD is hard enough. OCD separate from an eating disorder is hard enough. But when you combine the two, it can be a real struggle. But the good news is both are treatable. The thing to remember though is not everybody with an eating disorder or who helps people with eating disorders understands the OCD component. And so that's why I'm making this video, so that you can understand how they magnify each other and how resisting those compulsions, whether it's avoidance, reassurance seeking, or magical thinking or doing something, washing your hands excessively or, whatever it might be for you, it's different for each person. When you recognize those as compulsions and you see that as the OCD part of your eating disorder showing up, you are going to have more power. You're going to have the tools. And the less you scratch that itch for OCD, the quieter OCD gets. And so that is the ultimate goal, is those upsetting, intrusive thoughts get quieter as you don't scratch the itch. As you stop doing those compulsions, as you sit with the discomfort, you're able to tolerate it better and it stops dictating your life. Well, I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you again next Thursday. Take care.